The fruit pertaining to the tree in the Garden of Eden, oftentimes, like when I speak outside, where I sit at the park now, there's trees over my head, tree branches and what have you, as if they're neurons of my own brain or extension, and I expand my thoughts. And this is very per topic, pertaining to the knowledge of man of good and evil, in comparison to topics I share with you out in nature, pertain to the knowledge of man, which is oftentimes based upon perception or contrast, differences, and how those differences associates with each other in places, which create a depth and density to the environments of your mind in which you can understand and see things, okay, based upon relative contrast, according to sight and knowledge, pertaining to, a light source, whether natural or, shall I say, man-made, according to knowledge. And the basis of man's knowledge, where man has now a problematic mind, okay? And the problematic mind of man is the fact that we are constantly creating things from a fear-based way of thinking, and where we have a self-conclusive fate, which connotates our fears rather than the love that we have in our heart. So the darkness of man is vast, and the issue therein, that vast, infinite darkness, okay, the differences, the epiphanies, the ideas are as light that pertains to knowledge that equalizes the fall of man based upon his wealth or him obtaining knowledge, but that knowledge only to counteract the fall of man based upon his behaviors, desires, which are rooted in a problematic mind that is based upon perception, and that perception based upon contrast, and that contrast presents knowledge pertaining to, oftentimes, tax brackets, what one concerns over, and what types of fears do they have pertaining to, if you are a 5%er in society based on finances, would not have the same fears as an individual in an inner city growing up on benefits. And a lot of this pertains to different measurements and catastrophes which could occur, based upon sight or horizon, and how finances that your base needs are pretty much covered and handled, allows an individual to concern or fear things that may be more dense in catastrophe based upon how many individuals it will affect, pertaining to a spiritual matter, rather than things that are more immediate, such as survival or where your next meal is going to come from. So that, with government funding and how you project how you're going to spend these things through different tax brackets with different concerns, and each problem having its own nature or catastrophe level, in which oftentimes the knowledge we have is projected based upon our fall, and our problematic mind. You see what I'm saying? We cannot get back to where we were. Okay. And sanctification is a process pertaining to the fall of man in the Garden of Eden. Right. So therefore, in every advancement, and no matter how smart you may become, it would not be the same as from the place from whence you fell. Pertaining to the Garden of Eden and the knowledge you have, in order to have knowledge, you would have to know evil. Okay? And knowledge is a good thing. Okay? But it is a good thing out of what? It is a good thing that kind of comes out of lack. Right? It comes out of a deficit. In order to have the knowledge, if all things were created good, all right, in order for a man to have knowledge, something evil would have to happen in order to create perception or contrast pertaining to shadows and light sources. Okay? Hard contrast, light, more visible. Shadow, hard contrast over here. The contrast in perception, okay, and light source pertaining to your mind and consciousness. Okay? Not only how you physically see, but how you think and understand. You see what I'm saying? Creates your perception and the world you exist within. You know what I'm saying? So basically what I'm trying to reach you with is, you could have all the knowledge of the world, but it will not amount to the wisdom that Adam had before he fell. Right? So 10 steps forward, 10 steps forward, like 15, 20 steps back. For each advancement that we make, we cannot catch up to where we fell from. We can only buy time or slow the process and have faith that God will deliver us or cut the time short or what needs be in order for us to make it out of this pocket. And I'm saying that this is a spiritual issue. Where's this bread? Where's this money coming from? And what is supply and demand? And what is the nature of society which balances itself on the pin of a needle? With all its superficial etiquette, these beasts have become civilized. Their utensils are computers. But oftentimes their ways are destructive. Even though oftentimes they don't have bad intentions. This is the knowledge of man, and the sum of knowledge of man only revelates the fall of man. And whatever knowledge is had, though knowledge is good, man's pride in his knowledge is evil, because it is the record of man's original sin, I suppose. Fallen in the Garden of Eden, taking of this fruit to have knowledge. If all things are good, you can't have knowledge, because all things are good. So therefore, you will have to create a contrast point in which you can discern and understand things according to their peculiarities and differences. For which light of knowledge we are illuminated to such degree to know that we fell as man. Okay? To know that we fell as man. But yet, the mystery of how we are able to prevail against our original sin and our shortcomings is proof of the blood of Christ, that we still exist, especially with the knowledge that we have. Of all the things that can go wrong, the most haunting things are the things that we take for granted that go right. And this is a blindness that no man can cure. Peace and blessings be with you all. I'm out.